Well,
All right.
and
So what's up?
anyways,
What's
yeah,
up
no,
for real?
no, yeah, it was nice, in the pre Dilbert timeline. I had a good time. I went to Ireland, and that was cool.
Hmm.
I then went to Portugal and
Really?
got to experience a
Cool.
little bit of Lisbon, and that was quite interesting. Yeah, I've always been like a huge like my favorite kind of wine is port. It's the best. I've loved it forever. Um, and like Montreal has always been big on like Portuguese chicken, and they'd always have like that as an option and stuff, and I'd go in because it's so like just it's like sweet and just textured in a really nice way, and it's one of those bits where you're just like, yeah, like whether you know like wine stuff or you don't, like that's a type that just tastes really different.
My favorite kind of wine is like very low pitched and has a added to the end of my name.
Had okay, all right.
I'm making fun of
Okay,
my
all right, yeah,
wine.
yeah, there you go. Pat, yeah, okay, okay. No,
There you go.
stop, yeah, okay.
There it is. There it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So, it was no, it was cool to get to the origins of that shit, and yeah, of course, it was incredible while there. Um, I got to kind of look around and see like the European style, old villa kind of vibes,
Mhm.
and kind of go like, oh yeah, like I remember how parts of Montreal kind of look like this, except
Right.
these ones were built like 700 years prior in some
7,000 is a bit
instances.
high.
Yeah, and but it's just kind of crazy because it's the same thing I remember when we kind of when we were in like Amsterdam as well before, like a while ago, and it was just kind of like when we have a big old classic building over here in North America, it's like, damn, that thing's been around since 18 whatever. That's
My
crazy.
grandpa saw that thing built. Wow.
And then you go to Sintra and you see a castle, and it's like, what year was this built? Oh, like 1,000. You know what I mean? Like some kind of crazy where you're just like, oh yeah, this was built in like the 10th century or whatever. Like just insane numbers going past what I can possibly understand. And you're like, I'm yeah, 250 is like unthinkably old for us, and then you go into the
Yeah,
500s plus, and it's just like
this is the
nonsense.
perspective of those of us who live in the quote unquote new world.
Yeah, no, it is wild and cool, because I mean, like, there's what like I'm walking along these ramparts, and it's like, yeah, this is just the undead Berg, and this is
Oh
the
yeah.
part where you climb up, and then like a skeleton attacks you from a blind spot, you know.
Incredible.
And then also there's that whole bit of like, right, we're overseas, so like there's no real guardrails or like anything to stop you from just dropping to your death. It's like you can go up there and check it out, but like I don't know, hold on, use common sense, and don't blame us if anything goes wrong. And it's like, right, yeah. Like, North America is very much just like, we need to protect you from yourself, and everything needs to be idiot proof, and that makes sense, because again, like you have to make sure that like really silly people that are people that act irresponsibly, or anyone who's drunk or whatever doesn't fall and die. But
Do you?
uh, you don't have to, but it's become the way of the world here, especially because lawsuits are things, and you can get litigious, you know. But yeah,
Dead people don't tend to stoop.
no, but the families do.
Just put a bunch of spikes at the bottom to make sure they can't sue.
Oh, there were spikes.
Yeah, see?
There were
Good.
traps for escaping when, like, there's like it's kind of interesting because you're like, yeah, you're on this like kind of castle mooring, and you're like looking out, and you're seeing like all the village from way down there, and it's like, right, so, and then you can see the ships you can see the water where the ships are coming, and it's like, okay, so if the ships are coming, we can blow the horn, and if if the peasantry starts uprising and running up the hill and lighting it on fire, we have a solid hour before they make it up here. You know, so we can look down on them, and then there's about an hour to jump into all these little trapdoors and little holes that we can slide through to get away on the other side of the mountain. And there were definitely little spikes and tombs and caverns and bits and pieces that were strewn about, because it was just like, at any given point, they might get really mad, you know, especially when they look and they see that like this big old elaborate castle is actually just the royal family's summer home. You're like this unthinkably insane fucking dungeon is just like, oh yeah, this is where they would vacation in the summers, you know, and you're like, okay, here we go. You're dealing with a whole other level of fucking decadence on that, you know. But that being said, though, no, Portugal's a very cool place, and Lisbon's a very fun town. I got to enjoy what you call Fado music.
The hell is that?
Fado is basically folk music played. You go to like a restaurant or a bar, and like they'll come out and they'll perform, and it'll basically be just like guitar and a vocalist who's gonna sing to you about how fucking horrible their ex was, and the awfulness of heartache, and just like the most depressing music ever, but with so much soul and with so much just, you know, and you've just got to sit there and eat your dinner and drink your wine and just feel that debuff.
Just to about to commit suicide, or like.
Yeah, like, it's like, you know, it's kind of like going out to like almost like a blues show in a way, but it's much more traditional folk kind of sound to it. And like as the, you know, and like the first couple performers are like these young folks who are just like talking about, they're like, oh man, you know, like, well, it's obviously it's in Portuguese, so I don't know, but the vibe was like, I went to college and my high school sweetheart broke up with me, or I caught her cheating or something, and damn, that sucks, man. What a terrible story. And then like, you know, you get the like older dude that comes out and he's like, yeah, you know, that she like got that bitch took the kids and she left, and now she's out in Florida, you know, and I just gotta sit here and think about how sad, you know, I feel, and I gotta find out how to get back, and I gotta see my kids again or whatever, you know? And then you get like the lady who's lived a million lifetimes coming out, just the older, larger woman, and she just like, her voice just blasts and fills the room, and you're like, oh, she's singing about like not a shitty ex or a bad breakup or any of that. She's singing about like the worst possible outcome, one where nothing went wrong. She had a happy life, and then he died of old age, and now she's just alone. You know, that real like nothing went wrong, therefore it's almost even sadder kind of vibe, you know? It was really just like, this type of music is fucking woof, but damn, this pastel de nata is great, and I'm gonna just eat my fucking I'm gonna just eat this steak, and I'm gonna, you know, sip this wine and just sit in it, sit in the feeling of the sadness, you know. Fado is what it's called, and it's every night, and it's you can go find it. You can just wander in to restaurants, and if you hear it, and just go like sit at a table and just take that shit in, and it's like, yeah, it's real, but it's great. It's great. And I don't know, try not to fucking let it set in the genre, if that makes any sense.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
like I listen, I'll hear
live another lifetime.
It's be like, oh, my wife left me and she took my truck and all this shit. And I'm like, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
If that didn't happen. You're not actually like, it's a song.
Well, it really feels like you're making up a lot here based on not knowing anything they were saying. I'm trying to make an entertaining podcast for you to consume, all right?
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you not understand what they were saying?
No! No!
Then how the fuck do you know what they were talking about?
I don't!
They're gonna be singing about zebras at the lake!
Of course! The point is, I'm saying the energy of the younger folks having a bit more of a... Anyway, that's the thing.
That whole story was completely made up! What the fuck are you talking about?
Yes! I'm talking about the... I'm talking about the energy of, like, what that feels like and how that sounds. That's the bit! That's what I'm saying. It felt that way.
What the fuck are you talking about? I don't understand this whole story at all.
I'm sorry. Did the part where I said like they were singing in another language, and I'm talking about the vibe you get from what they're singing about? Was that not heard?
You went into so much detail about what they were singing about when it was actually just...
Are you not like that's I opened with that. Is no one listening? What is happening?
Are you listening to yourself?
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Like I said, I don't speak Portuguese. I'm talking about I'm painting a fucking picture of the vibe you get from the music because it felt really good.
You paint with your eyes closed.
All right. This is falling apart. Here we go. All right. Anyways, so it was very pretty music to listen to, and the younger singers were a little more upbeat and loose with it, and then like the middle-aged singers were like coming in more mournful, and then like the eldest singers and vocalists were like belting out like opera powerful notes that were like mournful and weeping in that, and that's kind of how the feeling of that went as you're eating your dinner and enjoying it, and that was the vibe, and it was very, very cool. Fado music is great. All right, you fucking just anyways, okay. Jesus Christ.
Yes, continue. Hit me with your anger and frustration. I am so fascinated in understanding why you are even frustrated.
Because I never said I understood what anyone was saying. I don't know how that got lost in the beginning of this. But anyways, that was cool. It was fun. Shout outs to Portugal.